Chris, I had to wake you up from your little trance.
Right.
You were kind of stuck in your little world there. How often does that happen?
You know, it comes and gets me. You know, there's no real set time. Honestly, it's been happening more often than not. You know, and you know, it's all right. You know, it's all right. You know, it's not something that I see as a negative. It's a positive type of stuff. And I'm out here. You know, we out here. We desert babies out here. You know, we out here in the Sonoran Desert. You know, some of us enjoy it, some of us don't. Some of us, you know, you gotta be sun smart. You know, you gotta be sun smart. And you know, I'm not sure how much the sun's affecting me, but you know, I'm out here.
So speaking of the sun, I'm gonna give you some water, okay?
All right, cool, man.
You lost a lot of hydration there. So, Chris, what have you been up to?
Oh man, there's been a whole bunch I've been up to. Lately, I've been trying to really just kind of chill out. You know, I've been trying to just get some nice good rest. You know, because we out here. It was 110 yesterday. You know, they say 110. That's not nothing to shake a stick at. You know, at the end of the day, we all tired, we all sweaty. You know, we all got the same kind of mindset out here. You know, it's kind of like the reverse, opposite, the polar opposite. You know, as if it was snowing. You know, if it was a blizzard out here, we all have jackets. I'm guessing. You know, I've never really been in a blizzard like that. But it's the first thing I think of is the jacket when I think of blizzard. And out here, you know, we're trying to just stay out here. You know, and the other place to kind of be. You know, and when it comes to being out here exposed to the elements. You know, and we low key help each other out. You know, if somebody's thirsty, you know, we see it. You know. And you know, everybody got these big jugs of water. You know, just kind of wet. You know, people's parch their thirst. You know, that's really all it's about.
Chris, I became a street barber all of a sudden. I'm cutting people's hair to the LostInPhoenix specialty, bald. Would you ever want me to shave your head?
Nah, bro.
No. Nah. You gotta keep the hair for the ladies, huh?
Yeah, the hair. That's what it's all about. You know, I don't have my comb. I dropped my comb, past overnight. You know, it probably came out my pants or whatever. It's all good. I'll find another comb. You know, everything like I said before, it's all for the ladies. You know, and if there's one thing that I can do, you know, I'm gonna try to put a smile on a woman's face. You know, that's really all I'm trying to do. You know?
How do you do that? Good conversation, jokes,
you know,
what?
Anything and everything. You know, I once somebody told me, make a woman laugh, you can make her do anything. You know, and that's what I try to do. You know, and it's nothing, nefarious or anything like that. You know, I'm talking about, getting like a little, some food or like a little, cup of Gatorade, something like that along those lines. That's what I'm trying to talk about. You know. And yeah, I want to start off innocent and innocent. You know what I mean?
You're talking about whining and dining?
You know, as much as I'm able to, and with everything that I've got here, and it's not a flex, just whatever I'm able to provide for a female, I don't expect anything back, I just want to be able to, if I can make her happy, I'm happy, if she's okay, I'm okay.
What type of woman is your type?
I gotta be a white girl.
A
white girl, short, the shortest jean shorts possible, spaghetti strap, and we good,
Well, Daisy Dukes?
Yeah, a little bit of body spray, and then we good.
Okay.
Some lotion, that's we're straight up to that.
That's your type, huh?
That's my type. And it's not, I've had many types, but white girl, I'm able to work with. White girls work with me, I've had my, Latinas, I'm not sure if anybody's able to kind of get in with the Latinas, they kind of got their own thing going on.
They're too angry, man. They're too mad, right?
Yeah, you have there's one trying to throw something at me right over here, so, I don't even know.
Wow, okay. So, what are your plans for the rest of the day? Are you waiting for your little high to calm down, or what?
Oh, no. I'm trying to get my high back up. I'm trying to stay up, highs I'm able to, you know. And I know there's cooling centers all the way around here, and probably go to the cooling center, you know, get some water, hydrate, wash my face, wash my neck, wash my hair, wash my hands, wash my arms, and everything else I'm able to, and hit the road again, you know. Just keep pushing, you know. Stay out of trouble. That's my biggest thing. Stay out of trouble. Kind of get the pulse of the city, you know, just like what's here, what's there, who's avoiding what's avoiding who, and just really trying to, you know, make sure that everybody's good, you know. That's all I'm trying to do.
Chris, don't you get exhausted, man, just being high all day and just expending a lot of energy, not eating right, not sleeping for days? Doesn't that ever get tiring, just old for you?
You know, not exactly, because, you know, there's the point of, I've done this before, and I know that there's results awaiting, you know. I know that there's some type of, you know, there's always a payoff, you know, there's always a way around, and for the most part, there's, I'm not really waiting for, you know, my high to calm down or anything like that. I just really want to be able to just share what I've got, you know, share my, you know, my being with everybody else, you know. And this is a very small circle, you know, there's very small few people that I do, you know, enjoy my time with, you know, and yeah, that's what I try to do. That's what I really try to do.
Do you ever miss your family, your parents, your children, your siblings, brothers, uncles? Ever miss them?
You know, there's a point in time when there's a place and time for that, but, you know, it seems to be getting, you know, longer and longer and longer, you know, as time rolls on. And if they really thought about me, if they really, really, really wanted to, they'd be able to contact me, you know. And I'm not saying that, you know, as a detriment or anything like that. I just want to be able to, you know, at least my kids, you know, my kids know that I'm all right. I'm not tripping out, you know, I'm not really, you know. And at the end of the day, it's hard, you know, anybody, you know, that with a beating heart isn't, you know, totally objective to their family unless some real trauma happened. Everybody's got trauma. I've got trauma, you know, and that's not pushing me or keeping me away from my family any more than anybody else.
And is all your family in Phoenix, or you're from up north?
Right now, as far as I know, the last thing that I have last bit of information that I know is that they are in Nevada.
Your family's in Nevada?
Yeah, it's in Nevada.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the northern Nevada part. That's where my kids are, and they're 14 and 10 now. And yeah, that's northern Nevada. That's the Reno area, Reno Sparks area over there. Pyramid Lake is it.
Okay. If your two kids see this, do you have a message for them?
Go Suns! You know, we just traded KD. KD plays in Houston now. You know, let's try to, you know, more loads on Booker's back. You know, we're gonna see that elite score come out. You know, I'm predicting, you know, 28.5 points average. Let's get 11 assists, and I'm probably about 5.6, 4.9 rebounds. You know, just gotta work on turnovers. You know?
What was the greatest Suns team ever?
93, 94.
KJ, Barkley,
Ainge, Marley, TC,
Chambers.
Yeah, TC. Got, you know, the Big O. You know,
Oliver Miller. He passed away last year or 2 years ago, right?
RP. You know, RP. There's a lot of people out there. You know.
They lost in 6 games to the Bulls.
Yeah, lost 6 games. Got a double overtime game. You know, it was worth it. You know, it was good. And they had the roll, and you know.
Michael Jordan was just a little bit too much.
Yeah, MJ, you know, that three-peat, you know, that was his third ring right there. That's his first three-peat right there, so.
Yeah.
You know, we got Pippen.
Yeah, that was a tough team, man.
You had Horace Grant. You know Horace Grant?
Yeah. It's a really good team.
Yeah.
I remember watching that 1993. I was young. I was super young.
Yeah.
I was sad, man. That was heartbreaking.
I was Heartbreak Hotel or Heartbreak, yeah. Heartbreak Hotel.
That's all it's been is heartbreak for. If you're a sports fan in Arizona, you've had a tough time, man. Because just get real close to getting championships, and then we lose. Thank goodness for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2001, huh?
And Mercury. They can't forget the Mercury.
Who?
Mercury.
Who's that?
The Phoenix Mercury.
Who's that? What
DT.
do they do?
DT. That's the WNBA. That's our. That's our.
That's still around?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Yeah, they got DT. Back then. Michelle Timms. Dewana Bonner. They're all good players.
That's awesome. But hey,
Grider,
you just like home teams, right?
Oh yeah.
You like home teams?
I'm a homer for sure. Home for sure.
That is awesome, man. So, Chris, it was really nice talking to you. I'm glad you're alive.
Absolutely.
I caught you in your little episode of where you get all super amped up, and get you some water, get you some food.
Absolutely.
Stay safe. God bless. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Yep.